Уважаемый господин премьер-министр, уважаемые дамы и господа,
Distinguished Prime Minister, distinguished representatives of mass media, the next year will see the 65th anniversary of our relationship with India. The Russian-India negotiations on the summit level have been just concluded. We have signed documents aimed at further promotion of bilateral cooperation, and they prove that the relations between our countries are based on trust and are developing. Together with Mr. Prime Minister, we have analyzed in detail what has passed for the last few years, analyzed the issues of bilateral cooperation. It is growing dynamically. The trade increased up to $7 billion, and probably it will reach its highest peak for the last years. This year, we are ready to increase the trade, we are ready to increase the investments, because these are just two sides of one coin. The recovery of the trade growth in this area, we count on the intergovernmental mechanisms on trade and economic cooperation. The Russian-Indian Forum on Trade and Investments will also help here, and Russia's accession to WTO will also contribute to these processes as well. During our negotiations, we have discussed the whole range of issues related to the cooperation in energy, industry cooperation, strengthening of science and research ties. We are realizing a joint program in this area until 2020. I'm also convinced that the agreement which entered in force this year, the agreement on facilitation of visa procedures, will contribute to the development of business ties within our countries. Today we will have a meeting with representatives of Indian business circles, and of course we will talk about different aspects of our cooperation, including metallurgy, car manufacturing, information technologies, telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, medical services. We will talk about defense industry as well. Moreover, our cooperation in the military technical area with India has reached unprecedented level. We are interested in participation of our Indian partners in such big projects as development of multi-purpose transport aircraft, the fighter jets of fifth generation, and of course we are interested in cooperations in the civil aircraft industry as well. We have significant results in energy projects as well. We are cooperating productively on the project of Sakhalin-1. We have good opportunities to engage our Indian friends in the projects of oil and gas, in the projects of oil and petrol complexes. Also, we are implementing the commissioning of the first energy union of Kudankulam station. But our relationship would be poor if we hadn't the wide range of humanitarian relations. This year saw the Festival of Indian Culture in Russia, the event on the 150th anniversary of the birthday of Rabindranath Tagore, a prominent Indian cultural figure. We will implement different educational projects. We will promote tourism between different cities and regions. We think that the humanitarian area is one of the most prominent in our bilateral relations. Today we talked a lot about international and regional problems. We were talking about how to contribute to the strengthening of stability and security in the world using such formats as BRICS, G20, East Asian summits and other platforms as well, including, of course, the United Nations. In the long term, we think that the partnership in the SCO will also grow. This organization has a growing potential in our region, and we support the application of India to receive full-fledged partnership in this organization. We are also promoting the strengthening of security architecture in Asian Pacific region as well. We are cooperating in the United Nations Security Council. Russian Federation is the permanent member of the SC, and India is a non-permanent member of the SC right now, and we see India as a strong candidate towards the permanent position, to the position of the permanent member in the United Nations Security Council. These are good mechanisms for positive cooperation in the area of international problems. Of course, we have talked with Mr. Prime Minister about the situation in the north of Africa, about the Middle East, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and we have to promote all those positive processes. We have to contribute to all those positive processes that now are underway in related states. We have to contribute to the development of those states, and at the same time we have to take all necessary measures to combat drug trafficking, drug crimes, terrorism, and create all conditions to promote the stable growth of global economy. We hope that in the future we will cooperate here with our Indian partners. Thank you for your attention.
Your Excellency, President Medvedev, distinguished representative of the media, I am delighted to be in Moscow once again for the India-Russia Annual Summit. Our summit has taken place just after the elections to the Russian State Duma, for which I conveyed my deep felicitations to His Excellency, the President. President Medvedev and I have concluded a very extensive round of discussions which were held in an extremely warm, constructive and friendly spirit. We have reviewed our bilateral relations, which, as is well known, are among the most substantive we have with any country. We also reviewed regional and global issues of concern to both of us. In today's world of uncertainties, regional flashpoints and economic slowdown, the India-Russia relationship stands out a factor of peace, progress and stability in the world. Our special and privileged strategic partnership has not just withstood the test of time, it has helped shape a balanced and inclusive world order, and it has contributed to the rapid growth of both our economies. We reviewed the progress in the areas of civil nuclear energy, defense, space, oil and natural gas, science and technology, trade and investment, education and culture. A number of agreements have been signed in these areas. We have agreed to celebrate the 65th anniversary of the establishment of formal diplomatic relations between India and Russia next year in a befitting manner. Russia has been a tried and tested partner in the development of our nuclear energy program. Both India and Russia are committed to ensuring the highest levels of nuclear safety. India welcomes the advocacy of nuclear safety by Russia at the international level. The two sides have concluded negotiations and agreed on the terms and conditions for the Russian credit for Units 3 and 4 of the Kudankulam nuclear power project. We look forward to moving ahead with the roadmap for cooperation in the field of nuclear energy, which we signed in 2010. Our defense cooperation has reached a qualitatively new level, marked by joint design and development as well as co-production. We are satisfied at the progress of the major projects. We reiterated our intention to enhance the scale of our bilateral trade and investment relations. The current trade volume of $9 billion is far below the potential of our two economies. We will continue our focus on sectors such as oil and gas, telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, mining, space and technology, and innovation. I'm very happy that the India-Russia Science and Technology Center has been inaugurated in Moscow. India-Russia relations have global significance. We have been consulting closely in international fora, including the United Nations, Security Council, BRICS, and the East Asia Summit. India will host the next BRICS Summit in March 2012, for which I have invited President Medvedev. We share similar views on threats to international security, from terrorism, piracy, and drug trafficking. Our aims and objectives with regard to Afghanistan's reconstruction and nation-building efforts and its ability to decide its own future without external interference are very similar. Both India and Russia have a strong interest in promoting stability and prosperity in the region, and we agreed to work closely toward this objective. We reviewed the significant developments that are now taking place in West Asia and North Africa. We have agreed to keep in close touch on the development in these regions. We both agree on the need for the European Union to take urgent steps to address the Eurozone debt crisis and restore market confidence. India deeply values its close friendship and cooperation with Russia. We are committed to further deepening and strengthening it, and I believe we are on the right track. I thank you.
Добрый день, у меня вопрос к
Good day.
господину Симку.
I have a question to Mr. Singh.
Сегодня много говорилось о
Today a lot was said about the perspectives of cooperation between Russia and India in the nuclear field. Please comment on when the terms of launch of the first unit of Kudan will be set, and the new platform will be provided to the Russian nuclear experts to build in the new nuclear plant. Thank you.
Well, we are committed to implement the roadmap which we have agreed with our Russian colleagues for the nuclear energy programs. Kudankulam 1 and 2 are advanced stage, and they are very close to being operationalized. There are, I think, some temporary problems, some agitations arising out of the concerns for nuclear safety and concerns about their impact on livelihood, but we are confident that we will overcome and we will be able to persuade some of these people that their concerns are adequately taken care of, that our nuclear plants are safe and sound, and that there is nothing to worry about with regard to their safety. That's a commitment both Russia and India will honor, and I am therefore confident that in a couple of weeks we should be able to go ahead with operationalizing Kudankulam 1, and thereafter by a period of 6 months Kudankulam 2.
This is Nitin Gokhale of NDTV. This is to both the leaders, sir. So far, the India-Russia cooperation has been driven mostly by defense and science and space relationship based on that. Do you think in the future, as both of you have remarked in your opening remarks, that trade and business would be the future which will be driving the friendship and the relationship? Is that the way you're looking at it, both of you?
Если мы сказали об этом, то мы так и считаем.
We said that we mean it. We think that both trade and business cooperation, investment, are the basis for further economic cooperation between the two countries. In my introduction, I said that we should not admit the development of cooperation only in one dimension. The growth of trade turnover needs diversification, and on the other hand, investment growth is. They are both the two sides of the same coin. We meet the business community because we are not only interested in the growth in numbers. We have a task to increase it up to $20 billion in the year 2020, and we are aimed at large and medium-scale projects because in the field of cooperation of economic field, it is important to have all the sectors of business of the two countries to be present there. Such contacts, I hope, will become stronger every year. We should work more actively, find new fields of cooperation. What is really important, considering the fact that world economy is in a bad situation, and the development of the relations, economic relations between the two countries, as we are big international economic players, it really affects the social well-being of the citizens of the two countries. That's why we will enforce our business cooperation.
Well, I endorse what President Medvedev has said. Ours is a multifaceted relationship. Defense, science and technology, nuclear energy, space programs have figured prominently in our areas of cooperation, but that doesn't mean that there is no scope for expanding cooperation in economic areas, trade and investment. These are going to be more important as we go along, and in areas of trade and investment, we both agree that our potential is far bigger than what we have achieved thus far. So the roadmap for the future is quite clear that this multifaceted relationship will grow in all directions, but trade and investment growth will be one of the key areas to work for.
Владимир Нестеров, Первый канал.
Vladimir Nesterov, channel number 1. I have the question to Mr. Medvedev and to Prime Minister Singh. How do you estimate the present role of BRICS in the international arena, and what is the future of this platform? Thank you.
Мы довольно подробно обсуждали сегодня с
Quite precisely discussing with distinguished Prime Minister Singh this issue today, the role of BRICS in the international arena. And we came to a result that the role of this forum is going up. I recall that we, with our colleagues with BRIC, we were sitting at the table and discussing general issues of economy development, countering terrorism, some other issues. Nowadays, our cooperation has become practical. We have forums of BRICS very often. The next one will be held in India, and the most important thing that the forum became the mechanism of consultation, and that's the most precious, because the world is rapidly changing, the economies are in a very complicated situation, financial crisis is still on, and even during the last G20 in France, before we had the meeting of all the participants, we had a brief meeting in the BRICS format, and that demonstrates that this platform becomes a really important player that helps to agree the positions of the states, BRICS members, and to defend our positions during other international events. You all perfectly know what is BRICS. That's almost half of the world population and a significant part of GDP growth. This year, the 50% of total growth of GDP is now within BRICS. This is a serious power, and we are looking forward to the level of mutual trust and solidarity on various issues. We are hoping that it will go up. Thank you.
Do I have to answer?
Yes, no, it's up to you.
Well, I think here too I agree with what President Medvedev has said. BRICS today represent the most dynamic economies in the world. And at a time when the global economy is in doldrums, when macroeconomic stability in many traditional growth poles of the world is not in place, it is very important that the 5 fast-growing countries represented in BRICS should consult with each other with a view to providing pathways in which we can together work with other countries of the world to bring about greater stability of the growth process in the world. But it's not only economics. There is scope for doing together things in the area of consultations with regard to other matters such as terrorism, piracy, global imbalances in the processes of governance, the reform of the Security Council, and other international institutions. All these are areas where BRICS countries working together can make a significant impact on the evolution of new approaches to dealing with these difficult issues.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Braj from Dainik Bhaskar. My question is for President Medvedev. India has been a very strong contender for the post of permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council. India and Russia are time-tested friends. Will India support India's candidature and mobilize support for India's cause? Thank you very much.
Ну, мне жаль, конечно, что вы не слушали мое вступительное слово.
It's a pity that you didn't listen to my introduction.
Я об этом
I have already
четко
given a very firm position. If you need any repetition, I can say it once again. Indeed, India is a special and privileged strategic partner for Russia, and we are considering India as a strong candidate for permanent presence in Security Council. And the other members of the Security Council should agree on it, and all the members of the United Nations, and after agreeing, perform the Security Council reform. You can have absolutely no doubts as for the support of the Russian Federation.